In the ancient days of Westeros, long before the Iron Throne and the Great Houses, a mysterious and ancient race known as the Children of the Forest inhabited the land. These beings were guardians of the vast forests, living in harmony with the magical weirwood trees that dominated the landscape. 12,000 years ago, before Robert's rebellion, the tranquility of the children's existence was shattered when the first men, a group of settlers from the eastern continent of Essos, crossed into Westeros through the Arm of Dawn. Eager to claim new territories, the first men began clearing the forests and cutting down the sacred weirwood trees, unaware of the magical significance these trees held for the children of the forest. These beings are not just inhabitants of the forest, they are part of it, woven into its very fabric through their unique abilities. Among them, there were shaman called greenseers, gifted with the power to perceive events across vast distances of time and space. They were also wargs, capable of inhabiting the bodies of animals, and they are powerful users of magic, a force as natural to them as breathing. Their connection with the weirwood trees is particularly profound. These sacred trees, with their distinctive white bark and blood-red leaves, are believed to be the conduits of the children's magic. The children of the forest carved faces into these trees, creating a network of eyes across the continent. Through these trees they watched and learned. The children of the forest lived a peaceful, symbiotic existence with the land, respecting and preserving its natural balance. Their average lifespans reaching millennia had no need for castles or cities, for their homes were the caves, the forests, and the weirwood groves. They were the guardians of the land, protectors of the forest, living in harmony with the rhythms of nature and worshipped the old gods of the forest. This was a time of great exploration and expansion, a time when the world was a vast, untamed wilderness waiting to be conquered. In the vast expanse of Westeros, alongside the children of the forest, another race once roamed the land. The mighty giants, their tales like whispers on the wind, faded into the realm of legend as time wove its intricate tapestry over the ages. The giants, like echoes from an ancient era, communicate in a rudimentary form of the old tongue of the first men, known as Mag-Nuk, or the Great Tongue. Unlike the sophisticated linguistic structures found in the proper Old Tongue, Mag-Nuk is a primal language devoid of the complexities known to human tongues. While the giants may not boast the intellectual prowess of the average human, they are far from mere beasts. Sapient and capable of speech, they wield the old tongue of the first men. Curiously, these colossal beings, dwelling in the northern reaches far from the Wall, but once roamed all of Westeros, and had skirmishes with the children of the forest before the first men arrived. Their linguistic capability to learn the common tongue is apparent, but the remoteness of their dwellings has kept them isolated from this language, echoing the distant solitude of their towering homes. The first men had skilled fighters, robust and strong, armed with bronze weapons and a hunger for expansion. They needed resources for their growing settlements, and the forests, including the sacred weirwood trees, were their solution. The sacred weirwood trees, with their haunting faces and blood-red leaves, were more than just trees to the children of the forest. They were a connection to their past, a testament to their heritage, and a gateway to their spiritual realm. To see them cut down was not just a loss of shelter or resources, it was a sacrilege, a desecration of their very identity. So the children of the forest retaliated. They were not warriors like the first men. Despite their diminutive stature, the children of the forest proved to be dangerous if provoked. Masters of shamanic magic, they excelled in the art of ambush, seamlessly blending into their surroundings with expert camouflage. Their agility and speed surpassed even that of the most skilled human warriors. They fought to protect their homes, their forests, and their sacred trees. This was not just about survival anymore, it was about preserving their way of life, their history, and their very existence. What started as a clash of interests soon escalated into a full-blown war. This conflict led to a desperate series of wars for dominance. It was a struggle that would shape the history of Westeros, a struggle that would echo through the ages and define the fates of both the children of the forest and the first men. For the next 2,000 years, the children of the forest and the first men fought for control over Westeros. This was not a war of swords and shields, but of magic and might, of ancient rituals. As the two races clashed over the control of Westeros, the children, desperate to protect their way of life, used their magical abilities to unleash nature's fury upon the invaders. They destroyed the Arm of Dawn, creating a barrier to halt the advance of the first men, and flooded the neck, turning it into a treacherous swamp. The first men, however, were relentless. The sea rushed in, drowning the bridge and cutting off the influx of invaders. But even this was not enough to deter the first men. The children of the forest went a step further as their numbers were dwindling. The children of the forest pulled out all the stops, using every bit of their magic to hold on to their lands. But even as they fought, they knew they were losing ground. They were outnumbered and outmatched. And so, in their desperation, they turned to a new strategy, a dangerous gamble. They decided to create a weapon, a living weapon that would turn the tide of the war. In their desperation, the children of the forest created a weapon that would change everything. The creation of the Night King was a desperate move by the children of the forest to win the war. The children, driven to the brink of extinction, were forced to resort to a dark and dangerous magic. They created a weapon, a being of immense power and terrifying strength. The first of the White Walkers, the Night King. The process of creation was a chilling one. One of the first men was captured, and in a ritual steeped in ancient magic, a shard of dragonglass was driven into his heart. This transformed him, twisting his form into something out of nightmares, something monstrous. Thus the first Night King was born, the beginnings of the White Walkers. The origin of the initial Night King remains shrouded in mystery. It remains uncertain whether he hailed from noble lineage, served as an ordinary soldier, or held a commanding position as a general. What is known, and what I believe, is that this man was not chosen at random, and that a green seer saw warg abilities, which is latent in certain humans waiting to manifest, and was picked for this reason. This remains a subject of ongoing debate. This was a chilling testament to the desperate lengths the children were willing to go to ensure their survival. But the weapon they had created was far from tame. The Night King was not a puppet to be controlled. He was a force of nature, a storm of ice and death. He turned against his creators, raising an army of the dead, the White Walkers, and the tide of the war shifted once more. This new threat was unlike anything the first men or the children had ever faced. The White Walkers were relentless, unstoppable. They swept across the land, leaving only death and destruction in their wake. The war was no longer about dominance, it was about survival. The children of the forest and the first men, once bitter enemies, now found themselves on the same side of a desperate battle for existence. The King of the Giants, known as Mag the Mighty, reigned supreme as the largest and strongest among his kind. In a commanding gesture, Mag issued an order to his fellow giants, compelling them to provide assistance and stand against the abomination of White Walkers. The creation of the Night King had backfired horribly, creating a threat far greater than the conflict they were initially trying to resolve. This led to heavy losses on both sides. For Part 2 share, comment, like and subscribe.